As investors pile into the AI boom, Australia is attracting massive bets from global tech giants. Just last month, OpenAI partnered with Next-DC to build a large computing cluster in Sydney. Amazon, Microsoft and Blackstone are also planning to pour billions of dollars into local data centres. The government's new national AI roadmap aims to boost investment, expand skills and embed AI across public services. Well, Swedish AI startup Legora is also rapidly expanding in Australia. The company, valued at $1.8 billion, aims to tackle the legal grunt work by automating tasks like contract review and due diligence. And joining us now is Legora Asia Pacific and Japan lead, Heather Paterson. Heather, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
You've recently completed a Series C funding, $150 million. What's the plan for the money?
We are rapidly expanding globally, and just having started in Australia last June, we're expecting to go from when it was just me to a team the size of 50 at this time June this year. We are seeing globally a huge appetite for legal AI. Firms like Linklaters, White & Case that are looking at how to use the technology to differentiate, and even locally a huge amount of competition here in the Australian market with firms like Minter Ellison and Allens that are looking at how to use the technology to expand their services.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about that? How is AI applied in the legal industry? How is it used?
Well, if you think back to 2023, there was, I guess, fairly rudimentary tasks being done by AI. And at the time, Goldman Sachs predicted that 40% of legal tasks could be completed with AI. And we're really seeing that play out today with ever-increasing complexity our technology being used to complete ever-increasing complex tasks. And what that actually turns into is not just review, not just translation, but automating end-to-end tasks using AI. Take an M&A process, for example. Previously, you may have only ever been able to review a subset of contracts as part of that process. And when it's time-bound, highly pressured, and a very strategic and confidential process, now law firms are able to provide that end-to-end review and apply their judgment.
Heather, Avril in Singapore here. To your point, I mean, even as we see these use cases, perhaps some lingering concerns about AI applications in such sensitive sectors such as legal sphere. What are you hearing in terms of how much convincing needs to be done? What's being done to sort of address some of these concerns?
Yeah, so I think with legal AI, it's not about if you are adopting AI, but what are you adopting? And to your point about the concerns around the use of AI, Legora, we really focus on ensuring there's the human in the loop, ensuring that there is the right security, the right privacy, and part of that is actually about not just buying AI, but how you adopt it. And what we're seeing firms really focus on when they work with Legora and when they choose to partner with us, it's about that change management process and how they are increasing AI literacy so that lawyers understand that this is just a tool in the toolkit from which they should apply their judgment and strategic guidance.
And you look after a number of markets across the Asia Pacific, including Japan. I wonder, do you see a bit of differentiation in terms of the uptake and how open some of these firms are to the technology?
Yeah, look, I actually think there's an incredible appetite across the Asia-Pacific region, and in individual markets themselves, the law firms that are the most ambitious, the first question we get asked is, hey, Heather, how can we adopt this quicker? How can we take our lawyers on this journey so that they understand the basics, but then they can access what the full capability of the platform and the models that, that support it are? So across the region, certainly we see big competition here locally in Australia, but Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea, there's an incredible amount of interest because of the momentum.
Do you need to adapt your AI tools depending on which country they're being applied in? And is it a process of continuous adaptation as laws evolve and new laws get passed?
Look, I think that's a great question. Actually, it's not. I wouldn't say that there's a difference from a jurisdiction perspective, but it's about embedding it into your local way of working. And so, firm-specific knowledge is going to get embedded into these tools as part of these more complex workflows.
I have to ask you the scary question, which is this going to put a whole lot of lawyers out of work?
Oh, I love this question, actually, because I think there's a great news story, and this is the best time to be a lawyer, actually. There's a huge amount of job creation in what we're seeing a trend on AI lawyers. And so firms that we're working with are now taking their lawyers that are practicing, whichever practice group it might be, but they're also got this interest in AI and understanding as to what it can do. And when you compare that together, it's really about how you're unlocking the capability within that practice group. And it's the same for Legora. We're hiring legal engineers, which is a new job that didn't exist just 2 years ago.
All right, Heather, thanks for joining us. That is Heather Paterson, Asia Pacific and Japan lead at Legora. And we've got more on Australia ahead. That's every Tuesday, 11:40 a.m. if you're watching in Sydney. That's 8:40 a.m. in Hong Kong. Also, you can tune into the Bloomberg Australia podcast, which delves into the biggest stories shaping the country's role in global business. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, or Bloomberg.com.